guys, I'm Colin.
And this is Ben.
We're from blackjackapprenticeship.com, and we're going to answer a question that we get, which is, what are blackjack deviations?
Okay, so in order to beat the game of blackjack, there's three things you need to know. One is basic strategy, one is how to count cards, and one are deviations. So deviations very simply are this. Well, first of all, in order to understand deviations, you have to understand basic strategy.
Yep.
Okay, basic strategy is the mathematically correct play that is basically determined by a computer. We didn't come up with this stuff. These are like super smart machines that tell you what the best outcome is for every hand against every dealer's up card. So you just have to memorize it. There's no easy way around it. It's going to take you about an hour. And you have to just get basic strategy down.
It's going to take more than an hour.
It's going to take more than an hour. Now, what you do then is as you're counting cards, you're going to keep track of what the cards that are in here, and we teach you how to do that on our website. And at certain points, the count changes so much that it makes sense to deviate. That's why they're called deviations. You deviate from basic strategy. And you do it at very mathematically equated times. Okay,
Yes.
So there's going to be a number on the deviation chart, and it tells you a true count, okay? Which a true count tells you the number of extra 10s per deck. This is all, if you don't understand counting cards, then this is not going to make sense to you. But you can learn about all these things. They're actually fairly simple. But you deviate at a true count. Now, what a deviation is not, this is really important to explain. It's not a gut feeling, okay? So most players, they see some 10s on the table and they say, oh, I see a bunch of 10s, so I didn't hit my 16 against a 10. And they think that that's a correct deviation, which they might be making a correct decision, but that's not what we're talking about when we're talking about deviations.
Yeah, so when Ben said that basic strategy was calculated by computers, that tells you, based on the composition of the deck, or the 6 decks or whatever, that is the mathematically correct decision to make every time you have your hand versus a dealer's hand. Well, when you count cards, you know how the composition of the shoe, or the 6 decks, has changed. And so then you actually are going to deviate based on these certain, the different true counts. All of a sudden, the composition of the shoe is different. You're going to deviate, but it is just like basic strategy, it's a perfectly calculated mathematical decision that you make 100% of the time based off of these numbers. There's one other kind of deviation, though. That's a betting deviation.
Ooh.
So really the meat and potatoes of beating the casino isn't the playing deviations, but these actual betting deviations. So you want to explain that?
Well, so it's very simply, as the count changes, instead of betting 1 unit, or this would be $100, you would be betting maybe, if you're me, 20 units, which is, $2,000. So this is, and you would change it when it's favorable for you. Once again, this is not random, okay? You're not just changing the way you bet because you won 3 hands in a row, or lost 3 hands in a row, or because the dealer is wearing green, or because it's July 7th, or any other crazy, weird, random, lucky thing that people come up with. These are mathematically based, and these are the 2 ways, by the way, that you can beat the house. Okay, so the dealer, they play by a set of rules. So right here it says, dealer must draw to 16 and stand on all 17s. They never change. Even if all the decks, all the cards left to be dealt are 10s, they still play the exact same way. So the way a card counter beats the house is when the decks change, they keep track of the cards, and they change the way they play, and they change the way they bet. So you can bet less when you're expected to lose, and you can bet more when you're expected to win. So about the breakdown, you guys, roughly, depending on how much you're betting and what the rules are, is betting deviations, changing your bet, accounts for about 80 to 90% of what a card counter expects to win. And playing deviations accounts for somewhere around 10 or 20%. Like I said, it's not exact. It depends on what deviations you're using and how much you're betting and what the rules are. But this is an exact science. Okay, so you need to learn how to bet correctly. You need to learn how to deviate correctly. You need to learn correct basic strategy. There's no guesswork. This is not how we feel. This is not whether it's Wednesday or Friday. It's a science, and you can learn about that science on our website at blackjackapprenticeship.com.
Yeah, we've got the playing deviation strategy charts on there for both hit 17 and stand 17 games when you're ready to learn those numbers. And we also have videos on betting and trying to understand that. We also, for our annual members, we provide bankroll coaching, which is us helping you craft a betting strategy that works for your bankroll, for the game you're going to play, all that stuff, because it is a science and it's not the easiest thing to figure out on your own.
So please leave a comment below if you guys want to ask questions about this topic or hear about other videos in the future. Thanks for listening. My name is Ben.
I'm Colin.
And this is blackjackapprenticeship.com.